As narrated by Brother Vijay Ananda. We have frequently heard Mother say that she does not go anywhere, yet we see her travel from place to place. Being all-pervading and therefore everywhere at all times, her body and its movements have significance only for us. Mother has assured us that she will never leave us, no matter where we may go or what we may do. I feel convinced that she is the all-pervading divine consciousness, for whom there is no limitation of space and time, and for whom the word impossible has no meaning. However, for most of us, this knowledge is only on the level of the spoken word. Many just repeat it from hearsay. But those who have had for a longer period of time lived under Mother's guidance, well, they have experienced it in a variety of ways, that it is a benediction of her presence. And they are able to understand that her blessings and her divine love are the same, whether we are far or near from her physically. But our mind is like a stupid child that has to be taught this lesson again and again, because he keeps on forgetting it until it is hammered right into his brain. On occasions, something happens that impresses deeply on our foolish minds the evident fact that Mother is ever with us, seated in our own hearts, guiding us constantly, removing obstacles, saving us from dangers. It is to this that I want to refer here of two incidents. The first, in 1954, during Mother's birthday celebrations, which took place in the Almora Ashram. I was then staying at the Varanasi Ashram, and from there proceeded to Almora to attend the function. Already for 3 years, I had enjoyed the good fortune of living under Mother's direct guidance. During the first half of this period, I had constantly traveled with Mother, accompanying her wherever she would go. To leave her even for a single day was a source of almost unbearable mental suffering to me. This is how Mother at first attracts us towards her physical presence in order to wean our minds from all worldly attachment. Love for Mother purifies mind and heart, awakens and greatly increases our yearning for the divine. What may be achieved after long years of struggle by the practices of pranayama, japa, or self-inquiry is accomplished within a short period of time, effortlessly, by pure and intense love for Mother. In fact, intense, pure, and selfless love for Mother is in itself a most powerful sadhana. This love is then to be expanded progressively to the all-pervading presence. Thus, Mother leads us stage by stage. Some temperaments may actually feel Mother near while they are far away from her in space. This may sound paradoxical, but can be explained as follows. When we are with Mother physically, her sweetness and kindness, her childlike simplicity, may make us at times forget her divinity. While far away, if the mind is capable of rising beyond the physical aspect, we have perhaps a greater chance of grasping that which abides in the heart. But let me again take up the thread of my story. During the second half of the 3 years that I had spent traveling with Mother, I could bear to remain without her for short intervals, but never, as far as I remember, had I been without Mother's darshan for more than a month. When I came to Almora for the birthday celebrations, the yearning for Mother's physical presence had come again, even stronger than before. The infinite love of the Guru is quite different from what is usually called love. Real love, or prem, knows no weakness. It may even appear hard and merciless on occasions. The grown-up child was clinging to the toys of the baby, and Mother most probably knew that the time had come for him to shake off the habits of the infant. Mother's skill in seizing the psychological moment is well known. At such a moment, I was made to promise to remain in the Almora ashram for 1 whole year without traveling anywhere. 1 whole year without seeing Mother. and it seemed like eternity to me. Previously, even after 15 days of separation, I would count the days and wait for Mother's return, like the well-known bird for the rain. Mother stayed for more than 2 months at the Almora that summer. While she was there, a number of improvements were made in the ashram. Only too soon, the inevitable day of Mother's departure came. I was standing by the roadside, looking at Mother's car that was ready to start. It was beyond my imagination that Mother, knowing my state of mind, could leave me behind for such a long period. Before starting, she called me, gave me her blessing, and uttered a few kind and soothing words. The car began to speed down the road to Kathagodam. I followed it with my eyes until it vanished out of sight. All kinds of childish ideas floated through my mind. I thought that Mother was just testing me and soon would send me back someone with a message for me to go and join her. But the time passed and nobody came. My mind was overcast by sadness as the sky is by dark clouds. I felt helplessly despondent and depressed. Of course, I was not compelled to stay on. I have never witnessed Mother exercising compulsion over anyone. I could have easily followed Mother to the plains. She would probably have laughed the matter over, as had in fact happened on a former occasion, and waited for a better opportunity to make me stay in solitude. But then I had given my word, and moreover, my mind having matured in the meanwhile, I understood that it was necessary for me to practice sadhana and lead a secluded life. I thus tried to divert my thoughts from their painful one-pointedness, keeping myself engaged in some work or other. During Mother's sojourn at Almora, I had temporarily occupied a room near the tank of the Patal Devi temple, since the ashram had been overcrowded. Now I had to shift to the ashram, so I began to pack and arrange my belongings, but my sorrow would not leave me. I was slowly ascending the narrow path leading from the Patal Devi to the ashram. The sky was spotlessly blue, the air fresh and light. In the plains, I mused, there must be broiling heat, heavy with dampness. Here at Almora, in the Himalayan foothills, was the calm stillness of the Himalayas themselves, with their sublime beauty. In the plains, I would have been in the midst of the din and bustle of the towns. Traveling with Mother means enduring all kinds of hardships and inconveniences. Here I had every facility, as if I were in my own home. But of what value were the beautiful scenes, the bracing climate, the physical comforts, and all the rest, when the main thing was lacking, namely the happiness I found in Mother's presence? It was a happiness that did not depend on any outer circumstance. With eyes veiled by tears, I was gazing at the gorgeous range of the mountain peaks, and all of a sudden something extraordinary happened. My whole being was flooded with joy. Mother was there, here present before me, yet not in her physical form. But how to describe what cannot be put into words? There was no form, yet I could clearly see her long black hair floating along the mountain ridges. There was no face, although I could distinctly perceive her divinely sweet smile, filling my heart with inexpressible peace. Glued to the spot, I stood like a small child, gazing in awe and wonder at her majestic features. She was outside and also inside of me. In fact, she was my life force, my prana, having taken shape. No sound could be heard, but in the depths of my heart I understood the meaning of her silence, and it was telling me, "Why do you lament, O fool? I have not gone far away from you. I am ever with you, ever present in your heart. I am your real self, the Atma." This experience lasted for a few minutes, but it sufficed to disperse the clouds of my misery, to chase away the heavy mists that had obscured my understanding. But in the second incident, not only in times of distress is Mother present, she is ever watchful, even where the small details of our daily routine are concerned. The following is an instance of how we are sometimes made aware of this fact. And it happened at the Varanasi ashram. At the time to which my story refers, some threatening cracks had already appeared in the hall below the terrace, protruding over the Ganges. The hall could not any more be used for public gatherings, and visitors were not allowed to go downstairs. Only a few inmates occupied some of the side rooms, and I happened to be one of those fortunate ones. I say fortunate, for I enjoyed the great privilege of living in solitude, right in the midst of that crowded ashram. My room, which faced the Ganges, was near the Anandamayi Ghat. In the stillness of the night, I frequently would sit in the hall near a window that opened out onto the river. Next to the ashram, on top of that ghat, is a small shrine dedicated to Sri Ganesha. Every year, the community of fishermen who live in the vicinity organize a function that continues for 5 days. On this occasion, a raised platform is erected over the ghat. A canvas roof and canvas walls are pitched over the platform and beautifully decorated. Each evening, when their day's work is over, the devotees assemble in the pandal where kirtan, devotional singing, and recitation of scriptures continues until late at the evening. During one of those nights, I was, as usual, sitting in the hall looking down at the river. Mother was not at Varanasi at that time. I could distinctly hear all that was being said or sung at the function on the ghat. Frequently, the spiritual aspirants, the sadhaks who keep themselves engaged in regular spiritual practice and live a secluded life, become very sensitive to the noise and vibration of their surroundings. This was also the case with me at the time, but the loudness of the function did not disturb me at all, so long as it was of a religious nature. On the contrary, I listened with great joy and appreciation to the Nama Kirtan and the bhajans. But all other kinds of sound or noise would sometimes considerably upset me. That night, I could observe that the mood of the people on the platform was gradually changing. Although I was unable to understand the words of their songs, yet the tunes and the laughter of the audience gave me the impression that the celebrations had taken a worldly turn. It was perhaps quite harmless, and moreover, my impression might have been wrong, but that night I seemed particularly sensitive and felt quite disturbed. In a prayerful mood, I said mentally, "In holy Kashi, on the banks of the Ganga, next to the Sri Anandamayi Ma Ashram, how can one possibly indulge in vulgar songs? They should at least sing the Maha Mantra." No sooner had this prayer taken shape in my mind than I heard a mighty sound. I could even say that I saw the sound. It is a well-known fact that sound and form are intimately connected. There is a level of perception where the two mingle. The sound I heard was not uttered by any human voice. It had its own living personality, and it came like a huge wave from the terrace of the ashram, and it flowed down into the hall and finally enveloped the platform before the function was in full progress. While the function was in full progress, although the wave had no definite shape, I somehow felt that it was connected with Mother's physical presence. The sound wave uttered once only Hari Bol, which means repeat the name of the Lord, but not in the tune in which Mother usually sings these words. Here the voice was mighty and stern, like a rebuke or severe command. No sooner had the wave engulfed the platform than the people present stopped singing instantaneously. A blank silence prevailed for a few minutes. Then, without any transition, they began to chant, Hari Ram, 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 Hari Hari, which is the second verse of the Maha Mantra. They continued with this for some time without singing the first verse, which is Hari Krishna. Later, they sang Sita Ram, Sita Ram, and as far as I remember, the remaining part of the night was spent in singing the Nam Kirtan. My prayer was a childish one and hardly deserved such a supernatural response. But very likely it was one of those psychological moments, a moment of conjunction brought about by the interplay of various factors, in which the lesson so frequently forgotten could be hammered into the mind of the child.